the edge. Now this is something extremely cool. Our 992 GT3 Cup car is now in Assetto Corsa Evo. And this is actually pretty big flex, having the actual car behind me while I'm sitting on the sim to actually record this video and do some driving. So today I will be, of course, driving it on the Nürburgring. I'll do 2 laps, one where I will be driving and talking a bit about the car and the main differences compared to our car, because although we have the livery, the one-to-one replica, so to say, of our actual car in Assetto Corsa Evo, there is actually something different to it. There is one key difference. Can you see it? It is missing fender louvers, because our car is actually the PETN car, the Porsche Endurance Trophy Nürburgring car, and it differs slightly from the regular Cup car that is in the game. So we have the fender louvers for more downforce, so actually less lift on the front axle. It has, I believe, spacers on the back, a G-force sensor, different exhaust, so unfortunately our car is not as loud as an actual Cup car. But when it comes to the livery, it is one-to-one identical. Even the black ribbon for Juha is on the car. Actually, it is missing one important feature of our car, and that is the XXL Nutrition SpongeBob. But I can assume that Kunus would get into some licensing trouble. Actually, while we're at it, let me show you the actual car. Again, the louvers are the ones that we have on the car and that are not in the game, but everything else is exactly the same. The livery will be slightly updated for 24 hours of Nürburgring. Well, actually the mandatory stickers that are going to be on the car. By the way, right now I'm recording live from a live workshop. So if you're going to hear some noise, it's because Labo is assembling the 190. Right on! Let's hop on our Novus Sim and do some driving. One more final thing before we proceed. Fanatec is enabling us to chase our dreams on the Nürburgring and chase other race cars by supporting this project. But there's also something in for you. Use the affiliate link in the video description, the first pinned comment, and the discount code ZZ-Misha5 for 5% off the Fanatec range minus the already discounted products. By the way, they have now finally released the pricing for the Club Sport pedals. Small correction, I was slightly too excited. Only the price of Club Sport pedals has been announced. They will be available soon though. However, Fanatec has released the new Club Sport Formula V3 steering wheel. Long story short, check out the website. They have plenty of cool sim racing gear that will give you competitive advantage. And maybe one day you will be racing in a Cup car as well. And by using the affiliate link, you will show to Fanatec that working with us actually makes sense. And maybe next year we'll be driving even something faster than the GT3 Cup. Anyway, let's hop on the sim and do some driving. Alrighty, so although we usually run the NLS layout, today for the sake of shortness of the video, we're gonna go Touristenfahrten because, well, you know, that's what you do, take a Cup car in TF. I will be using the base settings, so the normal, the completely stock car. Another difference that our car differs from is because we are running the Bilstein Evo R suspension, and therefore our settings are completely different. Of the alignment, of damper clicks, I honestly do not know the settings, and if I would know them, I won't be able to share them with you out of competitive reasons. So what I do know is that this car will be much more understeery due to the fact that it does not have the fender vents. But anyway, long story short, let's proceed and drive. As mentioned, we will do 2 laps. One where I'll just like talk you through my impressions, and second one where I'll try to be quiet and go a bit faster and hopefully set a decent time or so. Now, we will change the ABS to 3, DC to 2. These are the settings that I personally use on the Cup car most of the time, unless it is wet. So let's proceed. Alright, I'm gonna shift to 3rd gear because then it deactivates the speed limiter. a bit of cheating through here. Alright, off we go. Acceleration, of course, is all the same. I really love going through the straight in NLS, through the main straight, because you go close to 280 kilometers per hour, and full send, flat out. You can start feeling the understeer through here. It's the second gear corner. Usually we would go straight on the GP track, but today we, of course, are doing the Nordschleife, the NLS layout. Woohoo! Going towards Sabine Schmitz. Earlier on the brakes than we usually would do, because we have the full straight, and flat, flat, flat towards Hatzenbach. The descent through here, I'll go a bit on the brakes just to get used to the car. In real life, just a gentle lift, or sometimes if you really have huge balls, you would go flat out and brake slightly simultaneously to put more load on the front axle. Oof. The curb, off we go. Up. Oh yeah. I really like how the suspension is behaving, the suspension dynamics, especially since the latest Assetto Corsa Evo update, and the sound. Sound is really, really good. On the brakes through here, usually just trail braking through Flugplatz. Speed was okay, not ideal, because now it becomes apparent the main differences of the Cup car and the Porsche ETN car. Good. Get gently on the brakes through here and flat on the gas again. I don't know the speeds I'm doing. It's not really relevant because I'm going for lap records, but it's nice to compare. The interesting feature is I was thinking that the gear ratios were different in this car versus our car, because here we're about to hit the speed, the rev limiter. We're maxing out, but in real life we don't do that. So I was fairly confident that it's different to what we have, but I asked Mantai Racing, like, hey guys, do you do anything different to the gear ratios? Because I assume normal Cup car is driving on normal GP tracks and we are driving on a very high speed Nordschleife. I said, nope, it's all the same, so don't know. Anyway, Metzgersfeld is still like a tricky corner I need to get a hang off, but we're getting it right. Cullenhart, second gear corner with the Cup car, very late and lots of trail braking that needs to happen there. Here we just lift, turn in, flat on the gas again, go on the brakes, gentle, miss hit miss. Really love the steering feeling. Gentle, gentle, gentle. It's actually very similar. I would say again, the front axle on our car is much more compliant due to the alignment settings. Everything else is quite similar. Now going towards relatively boring part, of course, because it's just mostly straight. But here we have a very important corner, Bergwerk, especially for qualifying laps, because it leads to a long straightaway. I messed it up. Should have gone more on trail braking. Had to relearn a lot as we started driving the Cup car, because of course it's rear engine based. So you need to do lots of trail braking with turning in, but at the same time the car is so extremely balanced that if you go too early on the gas, you will spin out. If you go too much on the brake, you will spin out because it will just completely offset the car. Gentle, 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 gentle. And actually what I had to change a lot is my braking technique with the car, because I was losing a lot on the braking from what I've been analyzing. Give me a bit of flashbacks. What I've been analyzing with the laps, me versus manual, and also me versus other Cup cars when we were chasing with each other, messing up because I'm trying to talk and drive at the same time. The driving, when I had like a chase with another Cup car 2 races ago, I saw that he was catching up me a lot on braking because I was braking actually too hard. and losing not only on braking because I was braking too hard, but also on steering, because as I'm braking too hard, the car starts understeering because there is still too much of inertia going there. So the tip that Manuel gave me, brake less, start braking before and brake less but longer through the corner. And that has improved my lap time significantly. I had to rewire my brain for it, because there was a lot of like, okay, I'm not braking that hard, will I make it? Like, yeah, well, if you brake longer and earlier, you kind of distribute the braking balance throughout the lap, or throughout the corner, if we may say so, and it starts working. I cannot wait to be quiet and try to do a faster lap without talking, because right now it feels like I'm super bad at it, but let's see what we'll do. The other thing is, we still need to be very cautious and careful, because unfortunately, up until so far, you cannot switch off damage in Assetto Corsa Evo. So if you end up in the wall, you'll end up in the wall. Then you need to restart the whole thing, because, or you can continue driving with damage, which is not ideal. Maya. Well, someone is ringing the doorbell, the front door, so I'm gonna have visitors this late time of the hour at Vulcan Alpha. We'll see. So yeah, as I said, right now we're entering the peak of the season where we have very little time, and you just need to do these videos in between. Oh! You want to say hi into the camera, Andrea? Yeah, look at this. That's our mechanic. Look how pretty he is, like off work, off job. Proper Italian. Are you going on a date or what? Thanks. Alright, we finished our lap, which is actually almost a sub-7 lap BTG. 6:55, not too bad. So, and now let's do a quiet lap where I focus more on driving. We do need to get through the barriers. Alright, let's try to be a bit faster. Early turn in, but the delta is still dropping, so there's the 7th gear. It's not the GT4. Ah! No! No! Got too excited. You see, I started talking to you about some delta dropping, and there we go. to gain the lost time. F, big F in the chat. No. Alright, I'll give myself one more last attempt. Let's try again. I want to do just like sub 650, like 6:45 would be a nice time, I think. What are you doing? The edge. ABS. I'm super gentle and sensitive with my throttle inputs because it feels like this car is not as it's much more nervous compared to our car. Then again, we have completely different setup, different tires. Could also be a thing. So here I'd rather have a clean lap than messing it up. So in real life, we're much more different, as you've seen on videos. No, no. Messed it up. But on the edge. Yes! 6:41 with a crash that beats my target time of 6:45, so I'm quite happy. Again, with a bit of practice, because that was essentially my 2.5 laps in. First talking lap, then done half a lap, we crashed completely and then now redone it. I'm sure you guys can go sub 640, sorry, sub 630. Yeah, that's definitely possible once you're dialed in, and if you change the setup, maybe you have some less fuel in the tank. So yeah, I would say post your lap times, tag me in it. And again, if you looking at getting us at the Corsa Evo, which I highly recommend, because for me it's the best Nordschleife simulator there is out there, the most detailed version of Nordschleife, check out the link in the video description and first pinned comment. And also for Fanatec gear and extra discount, use code ZZ-Misha5 and the affiliate link. And by using that, you will show that to Fanatec that actually makes sense to be working with me, Jimmy, Steve, and hopefully next year they'll give us something faster. And now I'm going to bed. Bye.